Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another live stream. I'm joined, as ever, by Mr. Richard Pendry of the Risk Consultancy. And today we're talking about security pain points. What do we mean by that, Richard?
Gareth, thanks for having me back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done anything. This talk and these pain points are directed towards business owners, operations managers, facility managers, people who run the security aspect of their business, because some businesses need to have security as part of their operational requirement. And we're going to talk about five pain points which need to be identified. And if you have these pain points within your organization, then you need to know how to best soothe the pain.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to ask Richard questions. And guys, if you're listening to this, I'm really asking on your behalf almost. I want you to see if you can see any of these in yourself. And if you do so, I would heartily recommend that perhaps you get in touch with Richard. The best place perhaps to starting point is the top of his LinkedIn profile. You'll see a link there. Please follow it. Very soon there's going to be an updated Calendly link which will allow you to book some time. But if not, send him an email address or send him a message on LinkedIn if you want to discuss these still further. But let's start from the top. So the first one I've got here is, how do I know as a business whether I'm getting an adequate return on my investment for the money I've put aside and spent for the provision of security?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, the provision of security services can be quite expensive. It can be very expensive. But you need to ask yourself, am I getting an adequate return on investment?
Right.
Now, it's easy to get, it's easy to quantify some things, but quantifying a return on investment when it comes down to security provision can be quite challenging. And as I train, I've trained thousands of people in my career. I'm working with risk management companies now, and the amount of people are delegates and learners that I see come through my courses, and they do have no idea about return on investment. Now, it's all about quantification. It's all about coming up with a pound sign as a return on investment figure. And when you work within sort of some industries, for example, the easiest one to quantify would be shrinkage within a commercial environment. So you have a shrinkage figure. A shrinkage is the amount of product that is lost that you cannot account for. And if it's not accountable, then it's gone. It's gone out the door. It's shoplifting. And we've seen a huge increase in shoplifting at the moment, in the current environment. So we can actually, through points of sales machines and stock taking in the commercial environment, in the retail environment, it's very straightforward in coming up with a pound figure for the provision.
But it is critical. It's critical, is it not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, how do you equate that if you don't have the ability to actually do stock takes, and you're talking about specific products, yeah,
right?
Specific products. So that's the thing that you've got to ask yourself. And it is, because most organizations, if you've got security, will either have an in-house security team or they will have a contracted third-party provider. And I would say one of your first questions on Monday would be to either your security department or your security provider is, please provide me with a return on investment figure for the provision of my security.
Okay. Well, okay. Seems logical.
What am I getting back in spending this money? Which
exactly. What am I getting for my money?
That's
am I
what you need
getting
to do.
from this?
And if they can't answer that, then you need to come to me because I'll explain it.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
explain it for you.
All
That is
right.
one of the
So if
questions
you can't
you need
answer
to
this
answer.
question, if you can't answer this question, you should be talking to Richard. Okay, next question.
Absolutely.
Next question.
Yeah.
How do I identify the most crucial asset in my business? And secondly to that, how do I go about protecting them?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, every business is unique. Every business will have a set of assets, and all those assets will be vulnerable to danger. And it comes down to what the assets are, where they are, what they do. But there is a degree of vulnerability throughout your business in all the important resources that you depend on to actually conduct your business. So what you need to be able to say to yourself again, and this can be done as an internal exercise if you've got your own security department, or go into your third-party provider, is you need to be speaking to them and be able for them to articulate to you what they are doing to secure your assets, because you need, and the other side of it as well is that you have to identify those assets yourself to be able to ensure that they are that you reduce the vulnerability of them, because we have asset, we have a different assets are critical and other assets are less critical. You need to identify which are the critical assets within your organization, because when we talk about allocation of money, you should be allocating more money and resources to the critical assets rather than to ones that you business would. It's nice to have, but it wouldn't be.
So a critical asset is an asset that if you took it out of the business would stop that business from functioning.
Oh, yeah, a critical asset. Yeah. So what are your critical assets? Have you done asset recognition? Do you have a list of assets that are ranked in accordance to how your business needs them and how your business would be affected by them if they were attacked or you lost them in any way? And
they could be a person. It could be a person as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I mentioned, every organization will have a different set of assets. But one of them, but let's look at them. It's people. Yes. It is infrastructure. It is commercial technology, your IT, your cyber. You've then got reputation is a really important one, and the list will go on. And then you can peel back the layers and go down into those specific those headings into specific assets which are crucial for your organization. You need to know them.
Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. Well, how do you know that the people in your business aren't in fact trying to undermine your organization? This is a hard one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, this is what we call inside a threat. And I just want to give you some examples of how detrimental and damaging insider threats can be on an organization. So, for example, more than 30% of bankruptcies are due to employee theft.
So
3 out of 10 times the perpetrator of that theft has been stealing for the company for more years, for a considerable amount of time.
Right.
Yeah. The average age of somebody committing a theft, have a guess. The average age of somebody committing a theft within your organization.
I'm going to go with a stereotype. 25.
48.
No.
48.
What do you mean? The people that we normally consider to be the stalwart, upstanding citizens, they're in fact the ones most likely to be thieving from under our nose.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, we're not just talking about the physical things that can be taken away from our organization, from our business. We're talking about intellectual property. We're talking about know-how of the organizations, processes. Right. If you're in research and development, for example,
right.
and you've been working on a particular piece of software or a particular product for a number of years, and you spent a great deal of money on developing this product, and it comes out for release, but just before it comes out for release, those details are given to a competitor, and you've wasted so much time.
It could be critical to your business, because they could take advantage of it, suddenly release something before you, and you could be shanghaied.
It could be catastrophic. I mean, you know the amount, you know, you are hinging yourself on the success of a product, and you've spent all that time and effort, money, and then just as you come to it, that goes away. You know, it gets given away to a competitor. Catastrophic. 30% bankruptcies. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, there are so many newfangled tools and toys being released on an almost daily basis that purport to help us enhance security. How can my business utilize new and emerging technology to do just that?
I'm very open-minded on new technology coming through. I'm doing a lot with artificial intelligence at the moment, and utilizing that to be able to firm up risk calculations and things like this. And it's difficult sometimes to keep up with all this new technology. But the thing is, what I find a lot of the time is that security companies will do the easiest thing possible. And the easiest thing possible for them to do is to throw manpower at it. It's man guarding. Okay, man guarding. And we've seen the man guarding, or, you know, night watchmen, etc., in Tesco's, you know, all these guys, all these security guards that are out there. And that is the easiest thing to do, is just throw that on it. But is that the right solution for your organization? Technology now is advancing so quickly. We can use a vast array of technological breakthroughs to enhance your security, and in a number of cases actually reduce the amount of money that you're actually spending. Because what we've got to remember is man guarding is probably the most expensive way of protecting your business,
and also potentially the most inconsistent, potentially, because
inconsistent, because, you know, even if you have a large company, a well-known company that is providing your security, and their security guard doesn't turn up, they will then go off and use another company to provide a guard that you don't know and might even not speak English. So it's important for you to have a balanced and integrated approach and system and security systems to protect your business. And
there's so many options out there now. It's difficult to know.
Bewildering. But the thing is, your security provider should be coming along and suggesting these this new technology to you. And if they're not, and if they're just relying on their old strategy to protect you, then, you know, you need to say to yourself, really, and you need to come and speak to me.
All right. So the final question I've got for this session: how do I understand the more nuanced, specific dangers that my business faces?
Again, all businesses, depending on what they do and where they are and who they're in business with, will have a different risk rating. You'll have different dangers that will directly impact on your organization. And what you need to be able to do is work with a security provider that will give you an adequate threat assessment and specific risk calculations for your business. Now, I work as a consultant. I have my own clients, and one of my clients recently, last year, when I did an assessment for them, and through being able to identify and articulate the threats and the risks that they were facing, I was able to save them a six-figure sum, £100,000 plus, on their security on savings within their security.
It's still not chump change. That's still
No,
definitely.
but I mean, the thing is, you need to know what you're up against. And security. When I said to the one security company, can you please provide me with a risk assessment for the business that they were protecting? They come up with a health and safety risk assessment, and I said, no, I don't want to see the health and safety. Okay, I'm not. I want to see the security risk management assessment that you've done for this particular organization. And
Right.
they couldn't provide it because they hadn't done the research in depth to actually identify what dangers the organization that they were securing was up against. It's basics, but you would be really surprised on how security companies just get away with doing the bare essentials.
All right, so guys, thank you very much for spending time with me today, and Richard, thanks for that. I think I knew some of it, but a lot of it was made a lot clearer by that. Guys, if you are listening, be aware that Richard is here to act as a consultant for you, and certainly there's no charge for to have a conversation and find out where you might be missing out. If you have key members of your organization, if you've got key assets that need supporting and securing, and you don't even know where to start, your first starting point should be a conversation with Richard Pendry. Richard, thank you very much for taking time out today. I wish all of you a safe and secure weekend, and of course, great mental health. Bye-bye now.